It's strange. Well, first I gotta say, I've kind of been off the radar for a while. This is a video to an old friend, and it's about you ask a question in your video: how the apologists killed Christianity. Um, Before I answer the question, you may have not even realized you asked it. You may have been rhetorical. Um, all that heroic stuff, I see that exclusively. Well, I don't know, not exclusively, but I see in the experience of Christendom, or at least in a non-materialistic world, because materialistic world there would be no free will. Um, I mean, Christianity is unique in that it does say we are stewards of the land, and we must care for our fellow human beings and make the world a better place. Um, Not you know what I'm talking about when I say Christianity. I don't mean the Bible and taking it and beating people over the head with it. But how could you relate to that? And there's two answers that I have, and they're contradictory. One would be go to an Antiochian Orthodox church as often as possible for about 2 months, not expecting anything, not trying to do or believe anything. Just copy, just live as the Orthodox live during those times of worship, because that's the strength. That's the strength of the East, is that there is no change. How many Orthodoxes change the light bulb? Change? What's change? And when all the world, and I mean, people are getting into creationism or this or that, or explaining this, there did it have to do with, are we? Everything was addressed at the councils and in the creeds. The only thing that was to be addressed was uh, Christ, and that was all finished 1,500 years ago. I mean, finished in its fully fleshed out form, and everything that be answered, because nothing else needed to be answered in that way. It doesn't. Science is science, and this is that, and architecture, and everything else. There's the sacred and the profane, and the profane isn't bad or evil. Sex isn't wrong, or that's where West the West lost it, when they broke down the barriers of the sacred and the profane, because you had the Puritans. And now, you know, going in to the holy place and uh, uh, permitting the rituals that every single one before you did, in interacting with the ineffable. Yeah, you don't murder and steal and stuff like that, but you don't turn into Ned Flanders. You still have sex with your wife, or get drunk sometimes, or whatever. So I would say that that it's not much belief as you think it is. All that stuff is already inside of you. It's already built. I can witness it. Your reaction to the Batman guy talking about Christ. It's all there. Just go. And if nothing happens after 2 months, then but another response would be it's impossible. You can't. I don't know how to say it to you, but there are people out there, and I don't know what this is, but there are those out there. And it's not the label atheist or people there are people who are identify themselves as anti-theists that I see this in. But there are those who are out there that do carry the label atheist or anti-theist, and it is vacant. It is another creature, spiritually speaking, I guess. Not, it's not something like the Ubermensch or they need to be executed, but there's a chasm that can't ever be gapped, only by a miracle. And how often do miracles happen? Or do they happen? Huh. This is a question I've been asking myself a long time. Do they happen? But there are those people who, yeah, impossible. But I don't know the heart of anybody else. So it's either already, and even if you don't respond to attending liturgy and vespers and matins, it doesn't mean that's not in you. But there again, everything decays and goes down into ineffable, unknowable, unimaginable, the existing one, he who is. But there's two things. It already this typical Orthodox answer. You already are, and it already is. Just start doing it, and it'll spark up, or impossibility. And then there's others answers too. It's weird, but that's kind of how I see it. Because there are some people who they just the hatred of other people's devotion in Christianity, like the people who would just a laughing, jeering, mocking, just fucking hate on and shit on anybody who has, any, especially Christian belief. There are those out there, they don't give a fuck if, hey, that 15-year-old girl, her mother just died in a car crash. They're still going to rail against her Christianity, especially if they know that. And shit on everybody else because it's a myth and it should be smashed. And those people, I find the worst chasm in the world, that uncrossable. And I find that in many Protestant fundamentalists that brandish about hell and tell people, well, your grandfather wasn't saved or he was a Catholic, but you can be saved. Well, the fuck all. I mean, that's a bloodthirsty pagan god. Fuck that god and kill him. Fight against that. But then again, this is probably a useless video because atheism grew out of Protestantism and it's had its dialogue exclusively with the West. So this is just gibberish, but suicide for celluloid. My old friend from a year ago, I don't think we've even had contact for a year, maybe two, I don't know. It's too bad. I dig your videos. Peace to you.